Okay, greetings everyone. Welcome to Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth. With the truth. I hope you're having a marvelous day. Hope your life is going well. And I just wanted to stop. Sometimes I just get compelled to just do a video, because it's like, gotta make a video about what? I don't know, but we'll see where this is going to take us. What I want to start off is about, let's talk about, in New York, I was considered as Captain Saberho. Where that, I went on a crusade to help girls who were in trouble, help girls that were in the life. And from witnessing turning a hoe into a housewife, you know, I know the possibility of doing that does exist.
He's my pimp.
Your pimp? So you really are
Yes, she's a hoe. Come on, bitch, now.
And I ultimately did it myself, turned the hoe into a housewife. In fact, she ended up being the mother of my kids, and once she started having children, her whole life changed. She got to act together. She became what I often told her, that God could not have given me a better woman to raise my children than her. And to be honest with you, I don't think God could have given them a better father for her children than me. Not to brag, but I took care of my responsibilities as I was supposed to take care of today with 18 years old. At times giving $1,000 a month in child support. You know, um, Making sure they have what they need, and when I wasn't able to make sure that I was able to give them what they need, my parents may have stepped in, or even my brother to cushion uh, whatever it was that they were going through, until either I was able to, or even when I was in the joint, I was able to give. But let me back up a little bit. You know, um, I had two girls in San Francisco when I was living in San Francisco. Who I was managing. I'll say that. And the mother of my kids, she was bouncing off the walls, then stripograms and all this kind of stuff. Those of you who don't know what stripogram is when they, get in some type of costume, or, and go into office buildings or whatever, and then say, so and so here? Okay, hi, I am your birthday, and be the strip or whatever, like that.
Hello, I have a delivery for your neighbour, but they're not in. Could you take it?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Ah. What's happening?
Stripogram!
In the office, and it would be a goof. So she was also living with a guy who was gay. And not that shed any light, should say anything, but I know that they were dabbling in acid and all that stuff like that, going through a drug-free phase. Myself, I didn't start using drugs or got involved in drugs till I was 30. So I knew what it was like, to live a life, with expectations of being something, and the pursuit of to be something.
YouTuber, movie star, a famous actor, actor, on stage, on TV,
On Disney Channel.
or commercials. I gotta be a model.
I'll work it.
If I weren't a model, I'll just be a policeman. Police officer. A cop. I want to do car chases. Catch bad guys. A superhero. Batman. Spider-Man. I would like to go into the U.S. Army.
Something that is, I think, is lacking, in today's world. Of course, the drug craze ravaged a couple of generations, and unfortunately, you know, mothers and grandmothers became hooked and all that stuff. So anyway, so you know, I was on a bus, and I was coming to New York from a weekend from California. And I met her on a bus and told her, you know, I'm a photographer, you know. Like, this is when photographers had a good name, you know. When someone told you were a photographer, oh, really? Really? You a photographer? Like this, and then, you know, and I guess at that time, it was almost every girl's fantasy to be photographed by a professional photographer, and even having, you know, that type of relationship and affair with the photographer.
Take it.
I remember I had this one girl, you know, she would come over and she wouldn't say nothing. She wouldn't talk to me or nothing. She would just come in and just lay on my studio floor and say, come on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful creature. I mean, she may even have gotten pregnant. I don't know. I don't even know her name to this day, you know, so. You know, so sometimes I do think that she may have had a child for me, but it was a beautiful thing, you know. And then another incident I have, I don't mean to stray towards, let me tell you a couple of stories. And there was a woman who I was photographing. She wanted to photograph a present for her husband, you know, a nice sexy pose for her husband. So I said, okay, cool, okay. And her husband was Muslim. This is in the 80s now. You know, I'm talking about way back in the day. And so we were taking pictures and you know, like this, and we had a couple of shootings, and she was, you know, I guess, feeling me and whatever. And so she said, can I ask you to do a favor? And I said, sure. I said, what is it? She said, well, you know, my husband, he's Muslim, and he won't go down on me. You know, can you go down on me? I'm like, what? Beautiful. I still see a picture in my pocket. Beautiful sister. I said, sure. You know what I'm saying? So that was another one of those cases. So I've had some pretty positive experience photographing models. So anyway, you know, I told her I told my kids, you know, I like to photograph you. So she said sure and whatever. So when I came back, she came to my studio, and I started taking pictures of her. You know, character pictures, her and different characters, like a street woman, you know, just different characters I put in situations. And after the first shooting, you know, it was raining, so I walked into the bus stop. So I walked into the bus stop, and me being the romance I am, you know, I started kissing her. Kissing her, writing on her, etc. like this. So she came back and she had asked me, you know, told me that she didn't have any place to stay, that she had to leave where she was at. So I said, wow. I said, really? I said, wow. So you know, my being, you know, the kind of guy I was, you know, she stayed with me, and no. She had asked me. She came to me and she asked me. She said, "Do you know how I can make a lot of money fast?" And so I said, "What?" She said, "Well, I need to make a lot of money." And so I said, "Well, the only way I know how a woman can make a lot of money is to hoe." So she said, "Would you teach me?" I said, "What?" welcome to Gerard's class of pimping. You know what I'm saying? And today's subject is how to be a hoe. You know what I'm saying? So I started training. I started grooming. I taught her, but the most important lesson I taught her was never close your eyes when you're having an encounter with the client, because you never know what could happen. So anyway, so when I thought she was ready, like this, and I had a neighbor in the building, so I went to him. I said, "Yo, man, look, man, here's this $20. I'm gonna send this girl in here, flock her, and let her show how easy it is, to make this money." So she went in, and he's doing her. So I came in and I peeked in the door, and I saw her. She was laying down on her back, looking up at the ceiling with her eyes closed. So I walked over to the edge of the bed, put my head between her legs, and went bam. I said, "You see, you never close your eyes. If you close your eyes, you don't know what could happen." So so she's a happy. Okay, I got it. So then it was training day.
You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach.
So I took her to this bar, and I said, "Okay, go inside." I said, "When you get somebody, take them out." I would stay on around the corner, and I would count 1,000, 2, 1,000, 2, 21,000. I would follow you. So I saw her talking to somebody inside the bar. So she started coming out. So as she was coming out, I'm standing on the side, and when I turned around the corner, they had disappeared. Poof, they were gone. I didn't know, where they went. They couldn't have disappeared that fast. So what happened was that, I went back to my studio, and I waited about an hour, and I went back. She's still not back. So I waited, they didn't come. And so I said, "Okay, flock it, it's okay. No big deal. She's gone. So, oh well, So that morning, now this was a Sunday night. So it's Monday morning now. So I get up early. I get up like about 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I said, "Wait a minute. If she disappeared that quick, chances are he had to live close by." I said, "And chances are that he has a job in the morning that he's going to work." So lo and behold, I went by the corner and I waited. And here I see him. He was Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky, like he was floating. So he got on the bus. So I got on the bus behind him. And I told him, "Yo, man, take me to that girl who you were with last night. If you don't take me to her now, I will follow you to work, and I will terrorize you all day." So he said, "Oh, okay. There's no problem." He said, "We're both consenting adults. It's not a problem. It's not a problem." So he took me to his apartment, and in the bedroom, she's in there sleeping. And when I walked in and said, "Get up," she went, "Oh, I saw God in him. I saw God in him," like this. Probably from the acid she was having. I don't know what it was. And I said, "Get up and get dressed." So she got dressed, and we walked back to the studio. And at that time, I had a Panama hat on. So I put her on the stool. I said, "You're stupid. Like this." I said, "You're too stupid to be a hoe." And so you know, that was the end of her whole career as far as I'm concerned with me. So, but you know, she ultimately she started doing massage parlors, you know, doing massages, and we came up with this master plan, you know, to rob the massage parlor. You know, I remember I had a beautiful silk jacket. Oh my God, I love that raw silk jacket. And I'm waiting in the rain till she opens up the back door so I can go in there and say, "Brush, come on." but the boss saw me and knew who I was. What are you doing here? I said, "Oh, no, I just came to pick up her." And so we left and everything. So that was a bus. So she needed someplace to stay. So I said, "Okay, yes, you can come stay with me." By this time, you know, she was, Maureen, on the other hand, I should have said her name, but Maureen, on the other hand, the other girl, she had gone to Jamaica, you know, to for a getaway, and so she came back and I don't know if you heard that Robert Thicke song. What's that Robert Thicke song? Okay. Wait, hold it. Let me see. Robert Thicke.
Showing results for Robert Thicke. From the latest gadgets to the trendiest fashion.
I'll play a little sample of it. But I can't play much because I know it's a block. This one.
Everybody get up.
Okay, that's as much as I'm gonna play with it because there's a story behind that. Because it's called the song is called Bloodline, and Bloodline was sampled from Marvin Gaye's song Get It Up, and so I think it's Get It Up or something like that. And Marvin Gaye's family sued Robert Thicke, and they won, and sued for made by like $10 million and 50% of all earnings coming from that song. So, you know, it really turned out to be a disaster for him, but it became a very popular song. But anyway, in that song, there's a line that says, "That boy is not Jamaican." And so, when Maureen came back, she said, "Gerard, you're definitely not Jamaican." I left. Oh, it's like that. You go up there and got you some good, long, hard ballads and come back down. I'm not Jamaican. So I said, okay, that's cool. So anyway, this girl had moved in, you know, and she, when she moved in, now mind you, this is my photography studio. So when she moved in, I saw that she was an artist, that she was a graphic artist. Her thing was pixels. She made pictures and characters in a pixel type of artwork. Fantastic. And you see, during that time, most street entertainers, you know, or ladies of the evening had some type of occupational career before they made the choice to venture into the life. We call it in the life. So when I saw her work and her moving in, I said, oh, you know what? I could use you, because, pimping was not something that was one of my main goals. I've done it before in the past, but anyway, it wasn't something that I wanted to hang my hat on, so to speak. So anyway, what happened was that she started doing set designs. She started doing makeup on Maureen, and on my models. You know what I'm saying? She was fantastic. She had such a glowing, cheerful personality that everybody loved her. So we were a nice match. So during that time, she had gotten pregnant. Now, I didn't know if it was the gay guy she was with, they were having something. I don't know what they were having. I don't know what do you call it when a gay guy and a straight girl get together, or a gay guy and a bisexual. Anyway, I didn't know it was his. I didn't know it was the guy I paid. I didn't know it was the guy she went with. I didn't know it was mine. But she had gotten pregnant. And at this time, I was getting ready to go to Columbia College of Broadcasting because, I had a dream. I had a goal. I had something I wanted to pursue. And I wanted to be a cameraman, to work at ENGs, Electric News Gathering Cameras. That's what they call ENGs. And I wanted to work on television sets, with the camera, like that. And so I got accepted into Columbia College of Broadcasting. Okay, now Columbia College of Broadcasting was right next door to the Red Fox studio. Although I never got to meet him or anything like that, but I felt kind of good on La Brea Avenue going to school there, knowing that I was right there, in the heart of Hollywood, I guess you might say. But the only reason why I didn't continue following my goal and dream of being a freelance publicity photographer was because my freelance publicity business took off. Thanks to Bonnie Hilton Sweeney, and she was the founder of the Pre-Grammy Party. And I spoke about her before. I will again soon because it's been too long. And we know if there's a heaven up above, her and Janae are teaching people how to network. And plus, I was also a pharmacist, and I became highly in demand, because when artists used to fly in, to do their work or do a gig or something like that, they would say, get Gerard to take the pictures because he brings the nose candy, and you'll hear more about that a little later on, which was in Los Angeles. At this time, I was living in San Francisco. So anyway, I called her and Maureen into the room, and I told them, look, I'm going to Los Angeles. I said, both of you can come, one of you can come, or neither of you can come. It doesn't matter to me, And I said, Diana, I said her name. Anyway, I said, look, you're pregnant. If you come with me, I would treat that baby like it's mine. So she chose to come with me. So I had flown down or drove down to something, and I went around and found an apartment on Gramercy Avenue, Gramercy. Matter of fact, it was the same street that Marvin Gaye's parents lived on, where he was killed. Except he lived on North Gramercy, but in South Gramercy. So I also went to Marvin Gaye's funeral. I waited 5 hours to view his coffin.
They came to say goodbye to a Prince of Soul, Marvin Gaye, a singer who died before his time. Behind the casket bearing him came his mother, her situation all the more tragic because it's her husband who's accused of killing their son. It was a religious occasion for a man often troubled by life who was now finally at rest.
And he was laid out in this beautiful big white mink coat. And it's funny because I often laugh at kids today, who would stand online 2 and 3 days, for the latest iPod or the latest phone or whatever it is, the latest gadget that comes out. And I said, look, I can't think harder than him. I waited 5 hours to see a dead man. So anyway, but, and I've had some history with Marvin Gaye, but anyway. So, not actually Marvin Gaye, but Marvin Gaye's house sitter, who it's a long story. So anyway, I found the place. So, did I have a car? Yeah, I had to have a car because we loaded up the car. Yeah, I had a car, and we loaded up the car, Diane and I, and we drove to Los Angeles. On our way out, we found a puppy, and it was a Labrador, a golden retriever like the one I have now, and I named it Angeles. And so we picked it up and we drove down. Now we're moving into this building, and I didn't, it's whatever. And two guys wanted to help, hey, can we give you a hand? Oh, yeah, sure. One, two, sure. So this one guy had a white jogging suit on, one of these white jogging suits. And when he was going in, when he turned around, he had a big blood spot right on his dash. So I took that and look. I said, welcome to LA, baby. So one of those things. So we get settled into LA. I'm getting ready to go. I'm getting ready to go to school. I was going under the GI Bill. The GI Bill was taking a long time to pay up. So at this time, Diana had gotten a job working in a boutique store called Dynamite Boutique. It's on Hollywood Boulevard, and because of her talent and her artisticness, she did window designs, window displays. She would do the window displays. Awesome work. And at this time, because of my background as a black and white lab technician, I was able to get a job in a lab, because I print and do all that, stat machine and all that. So there were a lot of them in LA. So, we're working and whatever. So I picked Diane up one day, and one of her workers she was a Romanian. I think they were Romanian. And it turned out that she was a pharmacist. She sold cocaine. And so, yeah, I've had some experience with that in the past and everything. So, Alicia Keys. So I had some experience with that back in the days. So, and so I said, what the hell? So, I said, yeah, okay, let's see what I can do. So, to me, the secret of being a pharmacist is never to sell to anyone who has less to lose, who has more to lose than you do. You see? So if you sell to someone that has more to lose than you do, you never. So I had a friend working there. His name was Quentin Simon. Now Quentin's brother name was Bert. And Bert was the first official Michael Jackson impersonator. In fact, if you ever watch David Lee Roth's song, I'm Just a Gigolo, where he has a variety of impersonators in that show, you'll see Bert doing this thing on one of the tables as Michael Jackson. He also made his rounds on a Merv Griffin show and a few other shows, performing Michael Jackson. Talk about my pharmacist days, but there was one time he came over to my house to purchase his prescription, and he was preparing it there, and the bottle broke. So he was on his knees trying to pick up whatever he could from the carpet, and he was dressed in Michael Jackson attire. So I told him, Michael, get off the floor. So I never sold to Michael Jackson, but I have sold to a reasonable fact similar to him. And Quentin was a very strange character. I mean, he was very popular with the ladies. I mean, you could see why, just in the way he walked and his physique. So he knew I was, we were dabbling. I was dabbling and being a pharmacist. And so anyway, he decided one day to take me to Billy Preston's place, Billy Preston's ranch. So I got a feeling this. In the meantime, Diana is pregnant. She's working at a boutique. She's doing fine. She's all health now. She's not about drugs anymore. She's all about taking care of her body. She's all about making sure that the baby is developing perfectly. So he takes me up to Billy Preston's place. And Billy Preston is sleeping on the couch, crashed out, probably just sleeping over a bender. And so Quentin says, Billy, wake up. I want you to meet somebody. Wake up. I want you to meet somebody. And Billy didn't move. He said, Billy, he's got cocaine. And Billy sprung up like that. And I didn't know who Billy Preston was. You know.
Got a song that ain't got no melody. I'm gonna sing it to my friends when they go round in circles.
You know, that's one thing. You know, I didn't know the magnitude of his superstar.
Don't let me down.
You know, being the fifth Beatle and what we were in Topanga Canyons, so you know, Billy got up and you know he did something. You know, I didn't fool with it. You know, I didn't fool with drugs. You know, so anyway, you know, it just so happens he was in the studio putting together his next album. It was under Sheikah production. Sheikah production was owned by a sheik who him and his wife had come to. He was a millionaire, you know. In fact, he bought one of the big houses, big mansions somewhere, and where they have these Greek statues and all this stuff. And he started putting genitals on them and like that. It was kind of crazy. So this was his wife project, Sheikah Productions. So every night, you know, I would come to the studio. And I would come to the studio and as a photographer and also as a pharmacist. So I had a dual purpose, you know, a legitimate purpose and a legal purpose. So we had Paulina DaCosta, had Joe Hicks, had a number of artists, Ralph Panagar, a number of artists come through the lane down on the track. Paulina DaCosta was the most interesting. He had this big trunk full of, that's my mother, all kinds of sounds and that he would lay down on the track. And so in between then, you know, I'm in the studio. Billy would like then I'll come to the studio. Him and Joe Hicks would, you know, do their thing like this. So after we finished, you know, I was all about a tall can of Old English 800 and a little bottle of Jack Daniels airport bottles. I poured in a can, and I was cool. So this one particular night, some guys came over. I didn't know who they were. So they were saying, Billy, you know, can we take the rolls and go to the store? And Billy said, yeah. So I said, Billy, is it okay? I can ride with him. I've never been in a Rolls, Billy. You know, can I go? Billy said, yeah, sure, you can go. So when I went to get in the car, they said, stop. You can't come. You wait here. So I said, oh, okay. They didn't know I was Billy Preston's pharmacist. I know what they were there for, but if they would have known, I'm sure they'd say, oh, yeah, sure, come on in. But I learned not to be the DeBarge brothers, you know, who were hanging around with Billy during the time in the studio, which I didn't know them either. So anyway, so every night after the studio session, I know I'm kind of going far, but it's an interesting story. I never told the full detail up until now because this is Gerard, Black in the Philippines with the truth. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, share, like, tell a friend, or ask them, hey, you have internet on your phone? Yeah. Can you get YouTube? Yeah. Okay, let me hold your phone. Pull up Gerard, Black in the Philippines and hit subscribe and change. Okay, here you go. Do that, will you? So anyway, so what happened was that after we finished the session in the studio, we would go back to the ranch, and Billy's wired, you know, so he's still on a high, so he's playing the piano and telling stories, all this stuff about the industry and what have you, and most of the time I'll be sitting on a piano stool with him while he's playing, and you know, and Billy would turn like this, and I would go like this, and he would turn like this, and I would go like this, and he would go like that, and what have you. And in fact, I said, Billy, the only thing I know on the piano is this. Okay, so I found it. So when you listen to it, you're gonna hear Paulino de Casa, which is gadgets and sounds or whatever. But keep in mind, listen for the the thing that I showed Billy that I can play on the piano. That was enough. That's enough of that. You can hear the whole song if you go to that album called On the Air. And I was blown away. I was blown away. And even at that point, I didn't know who he truly was. At that time, they didn't have Google and all that things like that. Where I could just go on the internet and Google and Billy Preston, to find out who it was I was working for. So anyway, and I had gotten the album cover deal. And Diana had did the graphics for the front of the album. And she did a fantastic job. She captured, I'll see if I can find it in my files. I know I got the back cover, I will post it up. Here's the back cover. Okay, and I'll see if I can find Diana's front cover. But anyway, so that's that was the name of that tune. He told a story. Now the whole thing is that I would record these sessions on cassette tapes. And so it became a game with Billy and I that when it was time for me to go, I would take the cassette tape. And he'd say, Gerard, leave the tape. So I would leave the tape. So okay, Billy. So it became like a thing, because he would tell these awesome stories. So this one night he told a story that he was with the Beatles and he was in a hotel room. And I don't know if it was George or Ringo, and they were touring with Little Richard, because he was playing this song, and he said, they don't make songs like that no more because of Little Richard. So he said, one of them came running in, Billy, what's wrong with Richard? So Billy got up and he went, and Richard's door was wide open, and he was sitting in a chair, naked, with a towel across his lap, reading the Bible, masturbating. So I had gotten out the studio with that tape. I said, oh man, I got it. And this was the one time when I went upstairs, I did not take my tapes with me when I got home. The next day, that was the only cassette tape that was missing out of my car. I said, wow. So anyway, we finished the album cover. Billy had a time trying to get it finally approved because of the song that Here and Now, I think it is, Here, Now, and Everywhere, to get permission to put that on the album, which he ultimately did. But anyway, so matter of fact, Diane and I danced to one of the first songs in the studio from his album, in the control booth. So anyway, the album was finished and what have you like that. But Chic Production folded. Her and her husband, the owner, were getting a divorce. So he took the studio away from her for whatever reason. And Billy didn't have no other producer or label to put the album out on. The cover that we did on the album got distributed overseas. but Billy had found another label to do the album cover on. As you can see, it was, let me see. Yeah. That's the album cover they chose to go with, you know, instead of ours, because one of the deal was when they put the album out, they want to change the cover. So our cover never really made. I got paid for it, but anyway, so you know that was that story of Billy Preston. I met his mother's father, his mother and his sister, and when he was ill, you know, having his second kidney transplant. Before I do, I'll tell you this story. Billy had a horse called Monique. And I said, Billy, can I ride your horse? He said, nobody can ride that horse. She won't let you. And I said, well, you know, can I try in the morning? He said, yeah, if you want to, because I'd spend the night. You know, so anyway, that morning I got up and I saddled Monique. And Monique was a feisty, you know, black and white horse. She was feisty, you know, a pinto, like a pinto. And I got on her, and when I let her out the crowd, she immediately was trying to, you know, throw me off. You know, you can tell when a horse, you know, thinks that, you know, it can ride you better than you can ride it. So she started riding me into trees like this, and I went, pow! I smacked in the head, man, real hard, and got her attention, and she straightened up. Now, in the meantime, I had sneakers on, so I had to I had my feet in the stirrups, and I was hard. My instep was hard on the stirrups, and that's metal, so you know I got kind of sore there. So I was able to get off Monique on a ride and get back on her like this, just to show her who was boss. And so when I came back, it's like, you rode her? No one could believe I rode her. So I said, sure. So when he was going through his second kidney transplant, when I think he was a music director for the David Brenner show, I think it was, that he was doing. David Brenner was a comedian. And at this time, he was really having a hard time, you know, shaking the cocaine habit. You know, it had really gotten totally out of control, and to the point that it was killing him. And when he was going through his second dialysis, his second kidney transplant, which he refused to do, I think it was, his sister and mother wanted to see him, but his handlers wouldn't let them see Billy. So they would get a court order to see him. And when they would get a court order, you know, they would move him out of the state. So then again, they had to go the whole process all over again. So he ultimately ended up dying in, you know, I think Scottsdale, Arizona, or something like that. Yeah. Same thing I think happened to Ray Charles, you know. The handlers moved him around once he passed away, refusing to let the family see. Very sad. But ultimately, you know, I felt very guilty over the fact that I felt that I was really part of the problem for Billy, because I was a pharmacist at that time. So, it's one of those things. You know, there are a few other stories I can tell you about celebrities who I was the pharmacist for, even members of the Temptations. I don't think I would ever reveal that, but anyway, and got the receipts, you know. But you know, be that as it may. So anyway, Diana was almost like 6 months, or no, she was about 8 months pregnant. She was 8 months pregnant, and so what happened was that I can't help it. You know, I hung around with the pimps and the hoes like that. You know. And I didn't sell in the street except to a couple of those guys. And what happened was that it got around the area that I was a pharmacist. So I had somebody in front of my building kind of like selling for me, but they ultimately started knocking on the door, and it became kind of overwhelming. And so one night when I was up at Billy Preston's ranch, you know, I was selling him like a quarter ounce or something like that. And the cops kicked in my door. I wasn't there. Only Diana was there. And like I said, she was 8 to 9 months pregnant. And they took her to jail. And I was fearful that my baby or the baby was going to be born in jail. So I called the detective who was handling the case, and I said, look, let her go. It's not her who you want, it's me. And so he says, okay, come in, Gerard, and we'll talk about it. So I came in, ended up getting arrested. They transferred on the bus and whatever. I see Diana in chains getting off the bus with 9 months pregnant. And somebody says something. I said, yo, motherfucker, that's my woman. Like this. And got quiet then, because I was badass. Anyway, they said the thing that got me was because my calendar, I kept details on everything. And they found the scale up in the attic with residue. So they ultimately let us go. But one of the most frightening things that would happen to me while I was a pharmacist was that this one guy wanted to buy a certain amount. So I said, okay, I had a car. So I let him into the passenger seat. So I gave him the product. And he says, I'm not paying for this, I'm taking it. And came back with a knife. And I caught the knife like this, right before my stomach. And I'm fighting like this with him. And he's pushing the roof of the car, trying to push it into my stomach like this. And I'm telling him, I said, do you know who the fuck I am? And I turned the knife around and under him, he started screaming, Charles. I said, try to get out of the car. And so he dropped the product and ran. And I was traumatized. I was so scared. I was so scared that I know I came that close to being dead. It wasn't for the grace of God that he gave me the strength to turn that knife around and point it into the stomach of my robber, that I'm still here. I later saw him, this pimp named Really Jesus was my boy. He found him and said, Gerard, he's over here. I said, oh yeah. I had a razor. So he came outside, wanted to fight like this. And when he saw me, he turned around, I took that razor, hit him in the back of the ass with it. His meat split. And I know every day from that day forward, when he got in bed with a girl and she asked him, how'd you get that scar across your ass? He gonna say, that goddamn G. I say it like that. So anyway, so Diana's about ready to give birth, so she gives birth. And the baby's born. The baby is white as cotton. I said, this ain't my baby. That's my number 2 right there. I get to her in a minute. So she said, that's not my baby. She said, yes it is, it's your baby. Look at it, it's your baby.
He came out white, you look at me. I mean, I'm dark.
What does that mean? Because he's white.
Carl, man, most babies ain't that light, and then he's still light. Look at him.
So I raised my glasses up, and I went, I'm looking. I see the forehead. I see the cheekbones. She has lips like my mother. So I start seeing features in that baby that resemble my mother. And I said to her, okay, I'm gonna claim this baby. But I said, if God chose you to be the mother of my child, I'm going to have 2. Because I don't want a single child. You see, it's amazing how, I got these belief systems, factors in me, to do the things that I've done that brought me this far, my 6th sense. It's amazing because, it wasn't from following examples in my life, they just weren't there. So she said, I'm not gonna get pregnant. I said, yes, you are. You're getting pregnant. And that's how my number 2 came about. within 18 months, or something like that, she had another child. Until this day, I tell my number two, Janelle, I say, you are the gift I gave your older sister, Gianna. Gianna won't speak to me. Has nothing to do with me because of things that her mother had told her. Her mother hated me. Yeah. She had no love for me. She wouldn't go on shooting assignments with me when I'm being invited to these big Hollywood parties like this. She would not go. She said she wasn't going to be starstruck, which I respect that. But because of that, I ended up with the back rooms. What did I do? I did what the big boys do. Anyway, so that's how my two children came about. So I'm telling you this story because I know when I was in the joint, I didn't want nobody to see me. I don't want no visitors like that. No. But Diana came to New York with the two girls, and they came to visit me. So I took each one of them into a room by themselves. And I said, look, this is the last time I'm going to apologize to you for the past. I'm not going to apologize to you again, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry what I've put myself through. I made sure they came to New York every year so that way they know their black family, the black side. If I wasn't able to, my mother was able to. But in every other Christmas they came to New York, and every other Christmas my mother went to LA, like this to see them, or I wanted them to know their background. Otherwise, they would have grown up in a strictly all white culture, and I didn't want to have that. And I told the youngest one, I said, okay, Janelle, this is the last time I'm going to tell you I'm sorry. And I haven't said I'm sorry since then. And it's been, I don't know, I got out of prison in 99, so it had to be like 98 or something like that or whatever. I haven't said it since. But one good thing came out of that was Diana finally telling me, she said, you know what? I never believed in you. And I smiled. I said, I know, but it's good to hear you say that. And she was taken care of so well that her sisters used to say, why do you give him such a hard time? I said, look, he's taking care of you. Why? I mean, I would talk to her on the phone and she'd be saying some horrible things to me, like this. I said, wait a minute, are my daughters in the room? She said, yeah. I said, why are you saying what you're saying to their father? Why? And then when they're not in the room, it's, oh, hi, Gerard, how are you? How are things? Okay. I said, let me guess they're not in the room, are they? She said, no, they're outside playing. I said, I can always tell. I can always tell where my children are by the conversation you have with me. So, anyway, so I started to see her Captain Save her. So she came up, she's fine. Diana's fine. She's had a nice full life. Her children have had a nice full life. Their college was paid for because of that and all that stuff. But anyway, here in the Philippines, something happened to me yesterday. And yesterday was school day. So me as kids had gone to school. One of them had gone to school. The other one was sick. I know he really didn't want to go. But anyway, he stayed home. So when Mia dropped him off, picked him up for lunch and brought him home like this. And one thing that Gianna always held against me, my oldest daughter, was that when she was in school, they asked her where was her father, and she was embarrassed. She was ashamed. She didn't want to say that he was in jail. something like this. And that always bothered me, that she felt that way. I mean, why wouldn't it? Why would any child feel embarrassed like that? That's understandable. But the things that that Diana held against me, wasn't something that, I wasn't the only father who lived on the East Coast and the kids lived on the West Coast. I was the only father who was, on drugs and going to prison. I wasn't the only one. I watch these shows. Yeah. Let me get back to what I'm telling you. I watch these shows where these girls, these daughters have been abused, burned, sexually assaulted, raped by their fathers like this and whatever. And they say, but he's my father and I love him. And I, I forgive him for, and I'm saying, oh my God, what's wrong with my two? BET contacted me and wanted to do, they were doing a reality show called Daddy's Home. So they contacted me because they heard about the story. Because I wrote Oprah and all this stuff like this about what was going on, BET wanted me to be a part with my two daughters, And so Janelle wanted to do it, but Gianna said no. They even flew me to Virginia or something like that to see a psychiatrist, to get prepared for the show. As you can see from here. Okay, so, but anyway, so it always bothered me that she said that she was hurt over the fact that, I was in prison. So when she came home, she was telling me what they were asking them in school. I said, oh yeah. What was they asking? They were asking them, what's your name? So these kids to know their name, what's your mother's name? And then they asked him, what's your father's name? He said, Gerard. And I was like, wow. I was like, wow, my God. I could take that two ways. I think that he was just pressured because all their kids were giving Father's Day, but he didn't have a name for it like this. But it was like, wow, so I felt something when he said that. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. That's what I want to tell you. I said all that to give you an idea, or to bring you to this final conclusion, that I was proud and had a lot of pride that me, his son, had considered me or acknowledged me as his father. So anyway, so the wedding is coming along. Mia tried on her wedding dress the other day, and I tried on a shirt, a Filipino style. It's kind of clothes, it's getting, right now we are living off of virtually hand to mouth. Hand to mouth. When I say that, hand to mouth, I mean hand to mouth. In fact, I bought this fish yesterday from the neighbor, with my last 500 pesos, and that's like 500 is like $10, but we still got a few days to go before the end of the month. God will find a way. Okay, so I kept you long enough. Thank you for those of you who stayed long enough to listen to my story, and thank you for those who appreciate my stories, because you don't have to jump up and keep changing, searching for another video. And just remember, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elderly and always pull someone up. And sometimes, here are my two daughters. See how things happen? This is Gianna and this is Janelle. Oh my God. I tell everybody they're Filipinos. Dreams are nothing more than, but see how things work out. You get to see them. Remember, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elderly, always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one to see a vision. And the best adventure in life is to live good. And if you haven't got a dream, a goal, an idea, a train of thought, don't you worry about it. You just get as much as you can, as fast as you can, and take your ass home, because I'm sure there's somebody waiting there for you. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson, former lead singing the Temptation One song, treat her like a lady. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man like me, make me feel like a king. I love you like a love song. What did she say? She said, I love you in my Ice Cube voice. Miss Butler, thank you very much. I told her if I use it, I'm gonna tell you her first name, but I can't pronounce it. You know how bad I am at reading. Okay? I'll always love you more. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, share, and like. And look for my GoFundMe page, because as we get closer to it, I'm gonna put up a GoFundMe page. So this way, those of you who want to be a part of my wedding can. I'll talk to you later. Love you like a love song, baby. Peace.
Okay, right now I'm speaking with
Glenda Bosset, Mrs. Jones Beach of 2008 and Future 2009.
Oh, so you're here to defend your title?
That's right. I'm a returning champion.
Okay, so tell us more about yourself.
I'm a mother. I have 2 daughters. I'm a wife. I'm a personal trainer, the head of the gym of training department, and I'm here with my girls, which they train with me. And friends. We have Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Selena and Tara. Hello. Tara's not here. And have 3 more boys that are competing on bodybuilding also.
Okay, when did you get started in this? Or how?
I started competing back in 2000. I competed with the NPC. My first show was IMBF, and I earned a pro card in figure with IMBF in 2001. As my training progressed, my body was changing, so I was leaning more to bodybuilding look. So now I compete with the NPC. I'm a national competitor.
Okay, would you recommend this for everyone, or is there a certain type of girl that would get into bodybuilding?
Every female should weight train and to compete.
Okay, last question. The name of my show is called Dreams Are Nothing More Than Plans Awaiting Action. What advice would you give someone about following their dreams and their goals?
Do not let anything to interfere with your training, your diet, and with yourself. Go for it.
Okay, is there contact information for you?
It's a glendabosset.com.
Okay, we wish you a lot of luck in defending your title.
Thank you, honey.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.